energy from ghosts are the culprit. Sound is another way that ghost researchers track the unexplained through electronic voice phenomena. During our night at the Garden Center, voice recorders and cameras captured some mysterious sounds, especially this female voice that was heard outside the elevator. Here's the creepy female voice again. And listen to this strange sound. The group determined no team member was making this eerie sound. This was certainly strange. Speaking of strange, later in the night, team members held a sit-in in the den area. What happened next is truly unexplained.
It seemed as though they appeared right here and
6 team members were in the room when 6 paper flyers fell mysteriously from the ceiling. No one could explain why this happened. Maybe it was Mary Hull's way of saying hello.
I think they're enjoying just dangling the carrot.
Our night at the Tulsa Garden Center was full of lots of surprises. Planning on hosting an event or wedding here, make sure you don't forget to invite the spirits who call this building home.
It's long been rumored haunted by the orphans who lived here in the early 1900s, or the man who died here 42 years ago, Tulsa businessman Thomas Gilchrist.
There's been a lot of different energies throughout this house, throughout the many decades it's been around. He moved back to Tulsa in the 50s, and it became his home exclusively. He had a heart attack inside the home in May of 1962.
Terry French and fellow paranormal investigators from the Paranormal Investigation team of Tulsa have studied the unexplained at the Gilchrist home for years. Loud bangs, creaking doors, and what they believe are voices from the past.
We heard a phantom cat meow, all kinds of just very strange anomalies that we couldn't account for.
Using tape recorders, sophisticated thermal scanners, electromagnetic meters, and night cameras, these ghost hunters are tracking as many as 7 spirits in the Gilchrist home.
Oh, ooh, take a picture. I'm in.
Past investigations like this one 2 years ago have turned up glowing anomalies and a ghostly argument between 2 men that sent seasoned investigators fleeing the Gilchrist home.
Because the last time we were here, it was really intense. Take a picture. I'm in. Come in again.
Investigators rushed to grab a shot of a strange glow in another active night of hunting for ghosts.
I was not depressing it. That was on its own.
Whether the unexplained phenomena is Thomas Gilchrist reaching out from the grave, Tulsa's Paranormal Investigation team isn't ready to say, but something keeps calling them back.
For decades, there have been rumors of ghostly encounters at Tulsa's historic Brady Theater. For tonight's Halloween edition of Segment 2, Channel 2's Casey Roebuck takes us along for an exclusive investigation with Tulsa's Paranormal Investigation team as they seek to find out if the Brady Theater is haunted.
Most people would hate to spend a night alone in the spooky Brady Theater. That's not the case for members of the Paranormal Investigation team of Tulsa, also known as PIT.
We investigate any reports of ghosts or hauntings. People call us from residentials to businesses. Anytime they're experiencing things they can't explain.
They don't use seances or Ouija boards like you see in the movies. They use expensive, high-tech equipment that measures magnetic fields, changes in temperatures. They also use digital cameras to document phenomena that can't be seen by the human eye. Tonight, they're putting all their resources to work to investigate the Brady Theater.
Well, over the decades, some of the most famous names in entertainment have performed right here at the Brady Theater. And according to the legend, at least one of them is still around.
One of those performers was Enrico Caruso, a singer who performed at the Brady back in the 1920s. According to the legend, Caruso caught a death of a cold while walking to the theater one cold, rainy night after his car broke down.
He walked in the cold Tulsa rainy weather back to the Brady Theater about a half a mile to his sold-out performance. Legend says it was one of the best performances he ever made.
It was also his last. The cold irritated a pre-existing lung condition, and he died from the illness. Now customers, employees, and pit team members say he's still around. Only now, Caruso is the one being entertained.
And something swooped out of the balcony and got on the back of me, and I thought it was one of my team members. And I turned around, and when there was no one there, I realized I was all alone.
During previous investigations of the theater, Pitt has encountered a lot of activity they can't explain.
The balcony seems to be quite active. We've gotten some really good video and audio up in the balcony area. So. What do you got on your meter, Neil?
0.2.
Now, even though tonight's investigation was quiet, there's no doubt in the minds of these team members that the Brady remains home to more spirits than just those that are served up during concerts.
I've seen enough that, especially here at the Brady and other famous landmarks here in Tulsa, that I definitely think there is something more to it.
Casey Roebuck, Channel 2 works for you.
And the Pitt team offers tours of Tulsa landmarks that are said to be haunted. If you'd like to learn more, log on to okpit.tripod.com.
In segment 2 tonight, 2 Tulsa families who live next door to one another say that their homes are plagued with unexplained phenomenon, ghostly apparitions, and objects that move.
Now, in search of answers, the families turn to the Paranormal Investigation team of Tulsa. Channel 2's Casey Roebuck spent the night with the team as they investigated the bizarre events.
These neighboring homes are in a quiet Midtown Tulsa neighborhood, but according to the families who live here, their homes take on a life of their own at night.
At first, I was ready to move. I was really ready to move. We used to see a lot of shadows, just big, tall shadows.
Whenever I hear the footsteps, they always stop right here.
From ghostly apparitions,
Couldn't really see anything below his torso. It was just nothing there.
To unexplained noises, and even appliances that run by themselves.
It kept going on and off, and it did it like 5 or 6 times.
Neighbors Amanda Dodson and Carrie Schlemme can't explain the bizarre events that take place in their homes on a regular basis. They suspect it may have something to do with the sad history of both houses. Carrie grew up on this street and remembers that a woman died in her dining room.
But she had cooked dinner and tripped and laid, I guess, right here.
The elderly woman's body reportedly went undiscovered for more than a week. Next door in Amanda's house, Carrie says the woman who gave her piano lessons as a child lost her painful battle with cancer in the back bedroom. Carrie and Amanda don't know if their spirits remain or if something else is going on. They turn to the Paranormal Investigation team for answers.
Usually somebody's experiencing something they don't understand. They call us out. We bring out all our equipment and just see what we find.
When a certain level of energy passes by it, this will light up to indicate that.
They use high-tech gadgets to measure energy fields, sound waves, and temperature changes that could indicate activity.
The equipment used by the Pitt team is extremely sensitive to all kinds of electronic fields. So during the duration of tonight's investigation, the electricity has been shut off in both homes so it won't interfere.
A night vision camera is also set up in both homes.
It might pick up activity that the human eye can't see.
At 10 p.m., the group splits into 2 teams and is ready to begin.
And we ask any spirits here with us tonight to make themselves known. We mean no harm, and we ask only to see and hear your presence.
As the teams make their way through the homes, small indications of energy surface in Carrie's house.
Did they turn the breaker back on, do you know? No?
Is it higher?
Yeah, it's higher.
But that's not as odd as the energy that was drained from the batteries of equipment in Amanda's house. Even our camera batteries died multiple times in just a matter of minutes.
Some strange things happened in the second house. We had some pretty significant battery drains over and over again. That's a lot of energy. We haven't explained that yet.
As the investigation drags into the early morning hours, some team members pick up on the same creepy sensations that have haunted the homeowners.
The energy in there was just very odd. My chest felt really heavy while I was in there.
As the investigation draws to a close, the team prepares to study the hours of data they've collected to see if they can offer the homeowners answers.
I think that there's a lot of activity going on in this house that we just don't know about, that we didn't see tonight. So we'll definitely be back to do investigation number 2.
In the meantime, Carrie and Amanda refuse to be scared into leaving their homes.
When it goes on in your own house, all the time, even though it escalates, you just have to kind of live with it.
I'm not going anywhere, and I'm not going to be afraid anymore.
Casey Roebuck, Channel 2 works for you.
Now, the group called PIT conducts investigations at no cost to homeowners. The group raises funds by holding ghost tours of Tulsa landmarks during the Halloween season. If you'd like more information, log on to twoworksforyou.com and click on News to Use.
It's a mysterious road ahead, and you may never find your way back. Heading west from Chicago, Tulsa, Oklahoma is a natural spot to stop when looking for some Route 66 nostalgia. The route makes its way right through the heart of this city with a small-town feel. Here, country western music reigns supreme, and it seems the spirits of those who played it best live on forever at the Cain's Ballroom.
I heard one time about somebody seeing a black figure in there. They said it was just standing in the corner. And when they actually took a good look, it wasn't there.
Since its opening in the 1920s, the Cain's has been through its ups and downs. But through it all, it has been a Route 66 landmark.
Route 66 was really the only way in and out of town if you were coming from the east or the west. So when you came into downtown, one of the places that you would absolutely go to would be Cain's Ballroom.
That's where I think the road traveled for many musicians that have performed there throughout the decades.
The Cain's started off as a garage for the founder of Tulsa, Tate Brady, but was converted to a dance hall by the late 1920s.
And people would come and they would do the penny dance or the 5-cent dance there. They could take dance lessons during the day, and at night they'd throw these wonderful dances where their students got to practice. Now, in about the 30s, Bob Wills came into play.
Wills was a well-known country singer from Texas. After moving to Tulsa, he was set up with his own radio program.
They produced a radio program that went on at noon every day, live from the Cain's Ballroom. And so anybody in this area would tune in every noon, and people would come from all over the country just to see Bob Wills.
Wills and his bandmates, the Texas Playboys, became a popular act to see, and the Cain's quickly became known as the house that Bobby built.
Bob Wills is credited with being the creator of the only truly American musical genre, and that being Western swing, and that's influenced everybody in country music today.
Before long, anyone who was anyone in music wanted to play the Cain's Ballroom.
All throughout the 50s, anyone who played the Cain's Ballroom got their picture up on the wall. And if you're an aficionado of Western swing music, there's a lot of people up there to definitely see.
But it seems good times weren't meant to last. The draw of Route 66 and the potential for more fame and fortune out west got to Bob. So in 1943, Bob Wills headed to California on Route 66. And the Cain's wouldn't be the same for more than 30 years.
After his departure, the ballroom went through a series of incarnations. It was sort of a rough and tumble place.
The Cain's struggled to stay open for the next decade before it was taken over by Larry Schaefer in 1975, a man who had always loved this landmark venue.
Larry's a real colorful character. Larry brought everything from pig wrestling, mud wrestling, the Sex Pistols, Van Halen.
It was during this time that employees noticed some disturbing occurrences at the Cain's.
Larry Schaefer, when he owned it through the 80s, tried to sell it several times. One of the times, in 1982, he brought his staff into his office and announced again that he was going to try to sell the ballroom. And as he said that, a ceiling tile fell out, and out fell fan letters from Bob Wills. And I believe Mr. Schaefer believes that was Bob Wills' way of saying, "You're not selling the ballroom."
And so this previous owner felt that this was Bob's way of saying, "I like you, please don't sell the place," until he did find an owner that apparently Bob approved of. heard a myriad of stories from my staff and from former owners speculating that Bob Wills are still with us.
Perhaps the renewed prosperity of the Cain's Ballroom awakened Bob Wills' spirit.
Bob Wills is haunting the Cain's Ballroom.
He likes to come back every now and then, check, see how things